All right, welcome once again to the Bright Side, friends. A few more things I want to say about the health benefits of vitamin K. We'll probably talk about that for the next day or two, and then we'll move on to our next bone-building supplement. Not just for bone building. Vitamin K and all these things we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks now, actually the last couple of months, are not just about osteoporosis. They're not just about bone building. We've been focusing on osteoporosis. We've been focusing on bone building. But the main point that I'm trying to make with all of these wonderful building nutrients, phosphorus and sulfur and vitamin A and vitamin D and vitamin K, the main point I want to make for you guys is that all of these nutrients that are so important for bone building are important for building in general, for building everything in the body, for building muscle, for building neural tissue, for building heart tissue, for building skin tissue. Building is building is building. Anabolism, that's the fancy way of saying building. If you're dealing with osteoporosis, you're dealing with a breakdown disease. Your body's breaking down. It doesn't matter that it's breaking down in the bones. It doesn't matter if it's breaking down in the skin or in the heart. It probably is, folks. Nobody just has one disease. Nobody just has one form of degeneration. We've been focusing on osteoporosis, but even if you're not dealing with bone degeneration in a blatant form, for most of us, as the aging process kicks in, we're dealing with breakdown diseases. Building is building is building, and breakdown is breakdown is breakdown, and it doesn't matter from the point of healing anyway, from the point of regeneration, where the breakdown is occurring. All we need to do, no matter what kind of degenerative disease we're dealing with, no matter what kind of degeneration the body is dealing with, all we got to do is feed the body and keep the poison out, breathe correctly, exercise a little bit, and rest a lot. And folks, that's it. The medical model doesn't want you to know this, or they don't know this. It couldn't be much easier. Health and wellness couldn't be easier, folks. You feed the body, you breathe the body, you keep the poison out, you exercise a bit, and you rest a lot, and that's it. The human biological system, listen up, this is so important. The human biological system, the human body, is designed to heal and regenerate and thrive. But we have created a world and a psychology in our culture that's about survival. Our bodies are meant to thrive, but we've created a culture that focuses on survival. We are the descendants of ancestors who survived. We are the descendants of ancestors who were in survival mode, but their survival mode historically was not chronic. Our ancestors went into survival mode readily, like us, when a lion or a tiger was around or when starvation was imminent, but unlike us, unlike their modern descendants, us, they went out of survival mode just as quickly and easily as they went into it. They went into survival mode quickly, but they went into thrival mode just as quickly. That's because, and this is so important to recognize, this is so important. This is the essence of the bright side philosophy, folks. The natural human biological state is rest and digest, relax and sex. That's our natural state, to rest and digest, to relax and have sex, period. Apologies to the entire dogmatist and Christianity, churchianity, we know God better than you mentality that believes that life is supposed to be a struggle. Life is not supposed to be a struggle. And if we get too freaked out about what appears to be struggle, the New World Order and corporatism and tyranny and totalitarianism and our evil and twisted and anti-humanity political structure, we are dramatically upping our risks for heart disease, strokes, and aneurysms, and immune diseases, and cancer, and we're shrinking our brains to boot. If we focus on survival versus thrival, we are shrinking our brains, and we're shrinking our body's ability to heal. For anyone out there who thinks that life is supposed to be a struggle, the fact is our biology tells a different story. Our biology tells us we are at our best, we are at our smartest, we are at our strongest and healthiest and most resistant to disease when we're comfortable and when we are relaxed with just a touch maybe of quick burst stresses that act as stimulus for growth. When our basic survival needs are met with nutrition, with oxygen, with water, we kick into thrival mode, creative mode, intelligent mode, happy mode, growth and repair and anti-aging mode. And every single thing that we like about being alive, every marker of health and wellness depends on activation of this relaxation, thrival nervous system. It's called the parasympathetic nervous system. I know it sounds like a big word, but it's so important to understand this. The parasympathetic nervous system, the part of our nervous system that is responsible for relaxation, rest, and digest, is responsible for growth, repair, and anti-aging, and everything we like about life. And conversely, every single marker of disease and degeneration, from male pattern baldness to acne to cancer, every single one is associated with an overloaded sympathetic nervous system, an overloaded stress nervous system. If you want a pithy, succinct, and essential, and to-the-point reason for chronic degenerative disease of any kind, this is it, folks. Long-term chronic activation of the body's emergency response survival system. That's it. That is lurking behind this. Long-term activation of the sympathetic nervous system is lurking behind all degenerative disease. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll continue this discussion when we come back from our break. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network.
Pharmacist Ben Fuchs knows the importance of proper digestion.
Make sure you take a look at the Ultimate Enzyme product. They're made with bile salts and fat digestion enzymes and protein digestive enzymes. And not only do the Ultimate Enzymes give you obvious benefits for digestion, but they can also help keep your blood flowing through your circulatory system. As most of you probably know by now, thick, sludgy, clotting blood is a serious risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Clearly, inappropriate and excessive blood clotting is a major health issue, and thick, sludgy blood is not just about heart health either. Sludgy blood can compromise oxygenation and nutrient delivery to all your cells and tissues and organs, and ultimately lead to almost any health issue you can name.
Concerned about proper digestion and heart health? Order Ultimate Enzymes by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470, or on the web at brightsidebed.com. That's brightsidebed.com. Order today.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610, or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason!
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait.
No! Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
All right, talking about vitamin K for osteoporosis, but vitamin K is important for a lot of things. Vitamin K is important for building. Vitamin K is important for bones because bones breaking down is just a general sign of the body breaking down. Weak, fragile bones are just another way degeneration shows up. Degeneration is degeneration, whether it's in the brain, whether it's Parkinson's, dementia, Bell's palsy, whatever, MS, Guillain-Barré. In the intestines, degeneration is Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or irritable bowel syndrome. And in the bones, we call it osteoporosis, but it's general degeneration. Bone building strategies are just bodybuilding strategies. Bone building strategies are anti-degenerative strategies. If you've been listening to The Bright Side, and you're thinking, well, he's talking about osteoporosis again. That doesn't have anything to do with me because you don't have officially diagnosed, an official diagnosis of osteoporosis. Think again. As long as you have a body, these ideas are important for you. Bone building strategies are anti-aging strategies. Every last supplement that we've talked about in the last couple of months for bone building is important for anti-aging. It's important for, they're important for heart health, for liver health, for skin health. Bone building strategies are skin health strategies. Bone building strategies are anti-wrinkle strategies. Bone building strategies are important for building a healthy body. They're important for all the systems in the body. And this is why nutrients like vitamin K have so many features and benefits associated with their use. Last program, we talked about vitamin K's role in protecting against various cancers. Cancer is a classic degenerative breakdown disease. We've talked about vitamin K's role in blood health. And here too, disruption in the circulatory activity, the circulatory system, the movement of blood and the movement of fluids are a classic sign of aging and degeneration. Vitamin K is electrical. Vitamin K is an electrical carrier. The electrical nature of vitamin K is what gives it all of its features and benefits. Vitamin K has a dampening effect on electrical energy. It's like a sponge that can suck up sparks that throw off cell chemistry. Vitamin K can function as an electrical mop. It traps and it moves electrical energy around the body. This is one of the main reasons that vitamin K is so important for protecting against cancer. In addition to vitamin K's role as an electricity mop, cleaning up rogue sparks of electrical energy and transporting electrical energy around a cell, vitamin K plays an incredibly important role in calcium chemistry. Calcium and vitamin K go together. We've talked in the past about vitamin D's relationship to calcium, and indeed there are relationships between vitamin D and calcium. Vitamin D allows calcium to get into bone cells. Vitamin D allows calcium to get into all cells. And this is very important because calcium does much of its work inside of cells. Calcium is a cell's best friend. Calcium is like cell food. Cells love calcium. Cells need calcium. Cells thrive on calcium. Cells eat calcium like we eat food. Calcium is cell food. Vitamin D is like a old Italian grandma saying, mangia, eat your pasta, except it's saying eat your calcium to cells. It feeds cells calcium like your old Italian grandma will feed you pasta. Vitamin D is like it feeds cells their most important food. Vitamin K has a completely different way that it works with calcium. Check this out. Throughout your body, you have little tiny chemicals that are incomplete. You can think of them like sad chemicals. They need their chemical soulmate to be completed. And what is it that acts like these chemical soulmate that completes these sad chemicals, completes the emptiness of these sad chemicals? It's calcium. Calcium completes chemicals. Without calcium, these little chemicals, at least these certain magical chemicals, I'll tell you what these are in a minute here. These certain chemicals, these sad chemicals, need to have a little element of calcium in them. Without calcium, they're inactive. They can't do their jobs. And the jobs of these chemicals are very, very important. Some of these calcium-dependent chemicals include, some of the roles for these calcium-dependent chemicals include contracting muscle, building bone, making your heart pump, making your brain work. These chemicals are important for keeping your blood clean. These calcium-activated chemicals or calcium-dependent chemicals have little hooks that trap calcium. And without these calcium trapping hooks, they're as helpless as a fisherman would be with a fishing pole without his hook. A fishing pole without a hook isn't going to catch much fish, and if these chemicals don't have their hooks, they're not going to catch much calcium, and they're not going to be able to do their work. No hooks on these little chemicals means these chemicals are going without calcium. No calcium on these chemicals, and these chemicals are essentially neutral. These are chemicals that contract our muscles. That means without hooks, muscle contraction suffers. Without hooks, heart health suffers. Without hooks, blood doesn't get cleaned. In fact, almost everything a cell does, whether it's making muscle fibers, whether it's contracting the heart, whether it's firing as a nerve cell, everything a cell needs, almost everything a cell needs, is somehow related to these chemical hooks and the ability of these chemicals to catch or trap calcium. Without these hooks, no matter how much protein you're eating, no matter how many supplements you're taking, no matter how many hours in the gym you're spending, you will still not be maximally healthy, and you'll still be running higher risks for cancer, heart disease, and all the things we die from. Muscles won't contract, the heart won't pump effectively, your bones will be weaker, and you'll be at higher risk for every chronic degenerative disease you can name. Heart disease, brain disease, nerve disease, muscle pathology, osteoporosis. All of these are associated with hookless, calcium-dependent chemicals that can't trap calcium, that can't catch or fish for calcium. So you think these hooks are important? You better believe they are. Even worse, without these hooks, calcium will begin to float around. Without these hooks, these calcium-dependent chemicals can't trap calcium, and now calcium is going to start to accumulate, especially if you're taking calcium supplements or eating lots of dairy or some other calcium-containing food. Without these hooks, these chemicals can't trap calcium. Calcium will start to accumulate. It will start to build up in the blood. When it builds up in the blood, it can leak out into the tissues. Calcium floating around in the blood can initiate clots and plaques. It can clog up soft tissues in the heart and the brain and the kidney. It can cause kidney stones. Does this sound like these hooks are something that you want to know about? You think it would be a good idea to do everything you could do to help your body make these hooks for these chemicals, for these calcium-dependent chemicals? Do you think it's important to help your body make these hooks? By the way, these chemicals, these calcium-dependent chemicals are all proteins. They're called calcium-dependent proteins. And what if I told you that the key element for making these hooks that trap calcium, that allow these calcium-dependent proteins to do their work, contracting muscle and firing nerve cells and cleaning the blood? What if I told you that all you had to do was take a vitamin to help make these hooks? What if I told you that these hooks were dependent on a vitamin? You think you'd want to take that vitamin? You think you'd want to know about that vitamin? Well, guess what? These hooks are dependent on a vitamin. And taking a vitamin, taking this simple vitamin, can help your body make hooks, which will help your muscles contract and clean your blood too. Hang tight. We'll finish this up when we come back from our break, and take your phone calls as well.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average over 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
You've heard them on Alex Jones. You've seen them on Ancient Aliens. Now come see them live at Contact in the Desert 2015 in Joshua Tree this May. Experience 4 full days of science-centered lectures, workshops, intensives, and fieldwork on ancient astronauts, extraterrestrial intelligence, human origins, crop circles, contact experiences, UFO sightings, and more. Meet Chariots of the Gods author Eric von Daniken, Ancient Aliens host Giorgio A. Tsoukalos, New York Times best-selling author David Wilcock, Dead Doctors Don't Lie author Dr. Joel Wallach, astronauts Edgar Mitchell and Story Musgrave, Earth Files publisher Linda Moulton Howe, author Jim Mars, and many of the world's most respected researchers and scientists exploring answers to one of the greatest questions of all time. More speakers, more panels, more things to do. Join us at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center, which has a long history of sightings and contact experiences. For advance tickets and conference schedule, go to contactinthedesert.com. That is contactinthedesert.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
Folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
30dayfoodsupply.com has a special offer just for GCN listeners. Mention GCN when you order, and we'll send you a free bag of Oregon Trail Foods' new vegan burger, a $9 value, with your order of our 30-day food supply, still only $99. In addition, with every 6-month supply purchased, mention GCN and receive a free Life Straw water filter. Our vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings on to you. Call 800-700-2184. And remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. This is a limited time offer, so order today. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 800-700-2184. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com at 800-700-2184.
All right, we're back on the bright side. Thank you for joining us, friends. I am Pharmacist Ben. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time. We're talking about vitamin K and its importance for osteoporosis, but its importance for anti-aging. In fact, more and more we're understanding that vitamin K is the premier anti-aging vitamin, and in large part this has to do with the fact that vitamin K helps calcium-dependent chemicals, they're proteins, so they're called calcium-dependent proteins, make little hooks. And with these hooks, calcium-dependent proteins can hook onto calcium and do their work. These proteins that help contract muscle, help your heart work, help your brain work, help everything work, really. These calcium-dependent proteins are activated by calcium. They trap calcium with these little hooks, and it's vitamin K that helps make the hooks. And this is one of the reasons why vitamin K is so darn important when it comes to calcium metabolism, especially to clearing the blood. Today we're understanding that many of the signs, in fact, most of the signs of aging have to do with defects in calcium metabolism, and vitamin K is one of calcium and calcium-dependent proteins' best friends. We will continue this discussion tomorrow, and then we'll tell you how you can get vitamin K in your system, and then we'll move on to our next anabolic building and bone building nutrient. Our next anabolic and bone building substance is going to be real important. We'll probably be spending a lot of time on that, and that is going to be protein, the importance of dietary protein as well as supplemental protein. We'll do that as we continue talking about anti-aging strategies, bone building strategies, and bodybuilding strategies on the bright side. Our number is 855-660-4261, 855-660-4261. Got a couple lines open for you. Let's take our first phone call of the day. Daniel in California. What's up? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi, thanks for taking my call,
sure.
Ben Fuchs.
Yes, sir.
I've been having a little bit of problems with the BTT. I did a little plan where I was having loose stools and my pee was a little too yellow, so I cut off a little bit of the supplements. I kind of went cold turkey on them. Now I figured out that the BTT is causing me to have my urine to be a little too yellow.
Yeah.
And a little bit of loose stool. What should I do?
A couple things about that. I'm glad you called because I was supposed to talk about BTT and the mercury and all the stuff in there, and I'm glad you brought that up. So let me answer your question, then we'll talk a little bit about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is one of my all-time favorite nutritional supplement products. First of all, there's nothing wrong with orange urine. That's just the sign that your body's excreting riboflavin. Riboflavin is vitamin B2, and it means, literally, riboflavin means yellow body, and riboflavin is what gives the B complex a certain orange-yellow color. And when you're doing the B complex, you'll find that you're peeing yellow. You're peeing orange. You're peeing out riboflavin. It'll either be like a dark yellow or an orangish color. Not a big deal. All it means is that your body's excreting the riboflavin after it's been used, or riboflavin that it's not using. So don't worry about the color of your urine. That's not a big deal. What is an issue, however, is the loose stools. That's a sign that you're not absorbing minerals. I know I've said this before, so please bear with me for you guys who've heard me say this, because we do have a lot of new listeners, and Daniel probably hasn't heard this. So here's the deal, Daniel. When you take in minerals, especially high, dense concentrations of minerals like you're getting in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, they go through your stomach, and then they go into your small intestine, and that's where they're absorbed. Minerals are absorbed in the small intestine. If those minerals are not absorbed in the small intestine, they will continue their journey through the body, and they will end up in the large intestine, which is connected to the small intestine. At this point, as they're moving downwards into the large intestine, they are going to pull water with them. This is the body's attempt to dilute the minerals, number one, and minerals in general have this effect on water. Minerals suck up water. That's why municipalities will sprinkle minerals on top of ice to melt the ice. Minerals absorb water. It's just one of the chemical properties that minerals have. So as these minerals are passing through your small intestine, if they're not absorbed, that's the key point right there, Daniel. If those minerals are not absorbed, they'll continue through the large intestine. Water will be attracted to those minerals like iron filings are attracted to a magnet. You'll get this combination of water and minerals in the small, large intestine. Your stools will become watery, and you'll experience loose stools or diarrhea. Does that make sense, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very important, because what it tells me is you're not absorbing minerals. And this is very important when it comes to general health and wellness, and it's very important when it comes to anti-aging, and what's very important when it comes to longevity. If you're not absorbing your minerals out of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, that means you're not absorbing minerals, period. That means you're not absorbing minerals if you're taking supplements. That means you're not absorbing minerals if you're using food. That means you're not getting minerals in the blood and in the body, and that is a big, big problem. Minerals are even more important than vitamins, even more important than macronutrients. Minerals are fundamental to life, and if you're not absorbing your minerals, which is what that's saying when you have the loose stools, you are in big trouble, and you're running risks for all kinds of horrible degenerative diseases. So here's what you want to do. First of all, you want to sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's the first step. You want to take it into your system in as slow a fashion as possible. In fact, you should always be sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I know a lot of you guys are putting it right in your smoothies, or you're doing gulping it right, putting a scoop in water and gulping it on down. It's much better to do your Beyond Tangy Tangerine slowly and throughout the day, even if you don't have absorption problems, but especially if you're experiencing loose stools. Secondly, you want to use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine with, you try to take your Beyond Tangy Tangerine while you have a little bit of food in your stomach, first of all, and you want to make sure that you're practicing all of the absorption techniques that we talk about. For example, stomach acid is very important for the absorption of minerals. If you're not making enough stomach acid, and many people are not, you are very likely going to start to experience problems with absorption, with mineral absorption. So make sure you're using things like apple cider vinegar. Make sure you're using your digestive enzymes. Make sure that you're using digestive apple cider vinegar with your digestive enzymes after meals to activate the digestive enzymes. You can actually get something called hydrochloric acid drops. You have to have a pharmacist make that for you, and you need a prescription, but it can help acidify the stomach. You can use something called betaine HCl. You'll find betaine HCl in the Ultimate Enzymes from Longevity. You can also buy extra betaine HCl. And then there's the whole relationship of bile and the liver to absorption of minerals. Many people do not recognize this. Many physicians do not recognize the importance of the bile system, the gallbladder, and the liver for the absorption of minerals. If you have any liver problems, if you've had your gallbladder removed, if you're not making enough bile, all of these will cause problems with the absorption of minerals. And once again, minerals are likely to pass through the small intestine into the large intestine. The pancreas is also involved. So if you have any kind of pancreatic issues, if you're a diabetic, if you have pancreatitis, if you have even mild pancreatic compromise, once again, this is going to affect how well minerals are absorbed. So you can use pancreatic enzymes, you can use sodium bicarbonate, maybe a teaspoon in water a couple hours after meals. You never want to take your sodium bicarbonate with meals because that will neutralize stomach acid, but maybe a couple hours after meals. Use lecithin, which is almost like a bile replacement. If you have anybody who's dealing with gallbladder problems, by the way, make sure that you're using lecithin. The chemical component of lecithin is very similar to bile. Let's see what else you could do. You can actually take bile salts. You can actually buy bile salts. If you're using the Ultimate Enzymes, you'll get bile in the Ultimate Enzymes. Hang tight, Daniel. I've got a couple more things I want to tell you, okay? You're listening to The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. If you're on hold, stay there. If you would like to give us a shout, we do have a couple lines open, 855-660-42.
Hi, Coast to Coast listeners. I'm Kay Zwirling from KSCO Radio in Santa Cruz. I'm 93 years old, and I'm a big fan of George Norrie because his topics and guests are fascinating and really get you thinking. George is just as bothered as I am by all the advertising you hear for toxic prescription drugs that make you sicker, not healthy. I prefer to give my body all 90 essential nutrients it needs for life to prevent disease, not compound it. My favorite complete supplement is Beyond Tangy Tangerine from Longevity, which I take every day along with EFA Plus and Beyond OsteoFX, which together are called the Healthy Start Pack. I recommend you go online to criticalhealthnews.com to purchase these products. That's criticalhealthnews.com or call 855-949-RADIO.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
Independently leading the way for the nation. Compelling talk for every political persuasion. We are GCN.
All right, we're back on the bright side talking to Daniel in California. Daniel, you there, my man?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the deal, Daniel. The loose stools are very concerning because that tells me you're not absorbing minerals, okay? And that means you want to start doing everything you could do to increase the absorption of minerals. If you're not absorbing minerals out of the BTT, you're probably not absorbing them out of food, and none of that is good. How old are you?
I'm 20, but this loose stools only happened yesterday, so yeah.
Okay, you're 20?
Yeah, 20.
And no other, you're in good health otherwise? Nothing else going on?
Yeah, well, I remember. I don't know if you remember, but I called you a couple of months ago with the varicose veins and.
Okay, yeah, no. Oh, you're the guy that was in Mexico, that was living in Mexico? Was that you?
Yeah, now I'm good. Yeah.
How you feeling? How's everything working?
Well, left side is grade 1, and right side there's nothing. I told you, I think it got better.
Good deal. You didn't tell me that. That's awesome. Well, continue on, Daniel, because there's other stuff going on in your body, and you're only 20 years old, so that's not a good sign. Focus on everything I just said about mineral absorption, but here's what I wanted to tell you. If you're not absorbing minerals because you have some kind of a fat malabsorption issue, bile issue, liver issue, maybe a pancreas or stomach acid issue, that means you're not going to absorb fatty vitamins either, and that could cause big problems in addition to the mineral malabsorption. So really focus on fat absorption, improving fat absorption. That's so important for you, my friend. And the varicose veins, all of this is forming a picture of something wrong inside your body. Focus on fat absorption in terms of getting minerals into your system, and focus on fat absorption in terms of the fatty vitamins. You may also want to start supplementing with 400 international units of vitamin E, 20,000 international units a day of vitamin A, 5,000 international units a day of vitamin D, although D is best obtained from the sun, and 5,000 micrograms a day of vitamin K2. Hang tight. Listen up tomorrow, I should tell you, and then also Wednesday we'll talk about vitamin K and how you can get more of it in your system. But you're running high risks for malabsorption of all of these vitamins in addition to the mineral problem. All right, Daniel, hope we helped you out, buddy. Got to move on, okay?
All right.
Take care, buddy. Have a good day. All right, real quick, Al in Canada, welcome to the bright side. What's up?
Yes, I have a chronic issue that my wife has had to deal with for the last 15 years or so.
All right.
That's low absorption of iron.
Okay.
Doctors and her last checkups don't know why she can stand up. The iron is that low.
Well, how do you know it's not that she's not absorbing iron and that she doesn't have a liver problem? Iron's processed in the liver. Are you sure it's a malabsorption problem or not a liver problem?
We don't know.
Okay.
And the other co-issue is that she's had alopecia totalis now for about 15 years.
Okay, she's got some kind of autoimmune issue, I'm guessing. She probably has a liver problem, too, and a digestive problem. You ever hear the saying, the longest journey begins with a single step?
Yeah, she's been on Tangy Tangerine now for 2 months, and the hair is starting to come back.
Well, that's awesome news. Here's what you want to focus on right away. Stat, immediatamente, as soon as you can. The digestive system. She's got to have some kind of digestive problem, probably runny or loose stools, no?
No, normal. She says they're completely normal.
All the time? She goes regularly?
Yeah, she occasionally will have a session of loose stools.
It sounds like that's more than occasional, but here's what you want to do. And again, I'm not saying this because I want to beat up on anybody or make her wrong or make her feel bad about herself, but without correcting this, she's not going to be able to correct the iron. The BTT helping is a very good sign. So continue on the BTT, but really start focusing on the digestive system. I'd be putting on a good probiotic supplement as soon as possible. You know I love that Nightly Essence from Longevity. Get her on that. Start to see if you can connect digestive problems to foods and then eliminate those foods. To have her spend a couple of weeks keeping track of every single digestive issue she can think of, from heartburn to gas to bloating to the loose stools, anything. And then link those up to foods and then eliminate those foods. I hesitate to just tell you to take an iron supplement because if she's not processing iron, she could have an issue. I'd much rather she was focusing on the liver, which is the main iron processing organ in the body. And there's wonderful nutrients that you can use for the liver. But the digestive system is really going to be the most important thing that you want to focus on. The Ultimate Enzymes, the Longevity's Ultimate Enzymes are a great enzyme product. You want to use those after meals. The Z Radical can be very helpful for the digestive system. She may want to start taking some extra bile salts, B-I-L-E, bile salts, and she may want to throw in some betaine HCl. That's what we were talking about with Daniel earlier. Betaine HCl helps acidify the stomach. And, of course, you always want to keep her on, just have her getting a good multiple vitamin like the Ultimate Daily so she gets her minimum wage of good nutrients. So a couple things that you want to focus on. First thing is the digestive system. Second thing is the liver. And then the third thing that you're going to want to focus on is overall nutrition, such as overall multiple vitamin like the Ultimate Daily, and absolutely keep her on that Beyond Tangy Tangerine. But you're going to need to stay in touch with me because it sounds like your wife's a work in progress. I would be focusing more on the liver and on the digestive system than taking iron supplements if you're thinking of using iron supplements. Does that help?
Yes, thanks. Ben,
Thank
there's the hormonal balancer.
Say that one more time.
The hormonal balancer from Healthy Woman.
I wouldn't go there just yet, although, how old is your wife?
She's 52.
Oh, is she in menopause or past menopause?
I'm not in it yet.
She's not in it yet. Okay, well, that's awesome. No, instead of the hormone balancer, you probably should get her on the essential fatty acids and the Healthy Start Pack first. The hormone balancer and some of these extra products that are, they're like satellite products. They surround the core. You got a core of products, and that's the Mighty 90. I really, really want to focus on not just fat absorption and not just the liver, but also fatty nutrients if she isn't in menopause yet, because she's going into menopause. And once a woman goes into menopause, her ability to start processing fats becomes compromised even further if it's already compromised. So all those digestive support supplements that we just talked about, the Ultimate Enzymes, the Z Radical, and the probiotics, and the Ultimate Daily for all-around nutritional support. But just like with Daniel earlier, the guy we just talked to, focus on those fatty vitamins, especially vitamin K. So important for calcium metabolism. Without calcium, almost every system in the body is going to be working less efficiently. And if she's not absorbing fats, if she's got some kind of liver problem, and it's going to get worse as she goes into menopause, she's at high risk for problems utilizing calcium, secondary to vitamin K deficiency. Get her on 5,000 micrograms of vitamin K2. Listen up tomorrow, and the next day we'll talk about foods that you can use to get vitamin K. Vitamin E and A wouldn't hurt either. If she really wants to support hormones, and all women, if you really are interested in supporting your hormones as you go into menopause, you're much, much better off using progesterone, either in a cream format. Actually, I prefer the cream format. It's a little bit easier on the body. Or pregnenolone, and that's spelled Pregnenolone, pregnenolone, 100 milligrams. Got to move on. Al, if you have any other questions, send me an email. Send a letter to brightsidelletters@gmail.com. brightsidelletters@gmail.com. Okay, Al?
Appreciate it, Ben. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. God bless you out there in Canada. All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole idea of these minerals in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I know periodically we do this, maybe once every few months I'll tell you about the minerals in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the minerals in Beyond Tangy Tangerine come from the earth. They come from plants. That's thus the name plant-derived minerals. Plants have an ability to take stuff from the earth and process them so they are non-toxic. They process these minerals so they're water soluble. They create these complexes out of aluminum and lead and mercury, and not to mention calcium and selenium and potassium and all of the minerals. This is what plants do. They have an ability to take minerals from the earth, which include mercury, folks, which includes lead, folks, which includes arsenic, folks. This is all in the earth. When people are thinking about heavy metals, what they're thinking about is industrial metals. These are toxic. The minerals that are produced and processed by plants out of the earth are in a form called colloidal. That means they're protected. That means they're organic. That means they're attached to molecules like carbon and proteins that creates and renders these minerals non-toxic. Non-toxic. The reason we have to even put mercury in lead is because of some kind of proposition, I think Prop 69 or Prop 13 in California, that mandates such labeling. But it's not the same kind of toxic minerals as heavy metals. I would not be sitting here promoting a product that had heavy metals and that was toxic for you. I have seen the most incredible results with this Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I've seen these results for 17 years. I take the stuff myself, and if I'm telling you this stuff is powerful and this stuff is important and this stuff is in your health interest, I know what I'm talking about. So please do not be bamboozled by any misinformation that's out there on the internet, by any misinformation that's being promoted by biochemically ignorant marketing people who are telling you about heavy metals and Beyond Tangy Tangerine or any kind of toxicity in the stuff. All right, I hope that explains that. I'm Pharmacist Ben. I'm sorry if we left you on hold. You've got to get on board early on the bright side. If you're interested in learning more about the longevity products, head over to my website, brightsideben.com, or you can check out my blog,
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Attention! Do you owe money to the IRS or have years of unfiled returns? Are you being audited or receiving threatening letters? If the answer is yes, you need help. The IRS can seize your property and assets, impose fines and penalties, garnish your wages, and even go after your bank account. Don't take on the IRS by yourself. Don't let the IRS destroy your life. Take action now. Call our team of experts for a free and confidential initial evaluation. We've helped thousands resolve their tax problems. Let us help you. 800-261-7073. 800-261-7073.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.